Stay tuned for the Best of the Filmmakers show next, right here on Cablevision Channel 20.
Hi everybody, welcome to the 10th season of the Best of the Filmmakers show. I'm Jerry Parisi and my cohort is Joanne Parisi. She'll be coming on just a little later on. But right now we have a very special treat. It's very apropos for our show being on the air 10 years. We are here with Joe Fuoco in the Joe Fuoco Music Center, and that music center is celebrating its 50th year. 50 years. Hiya Joe. How did you pull that off? And is that famous Gibson I remember, 345?
Yes, it is. This is the 1968 Gibson 345 stereo.
Yes.
Which means that I have two wires plugged in here, one for each pickup with one wire in the guitar. Stereophonic. Very, very different type of sound than a mono guitar. The only problem is you gotta have this wire. All right,
That's
which
true.
I do have. Okay.
Which lucky thing.
And if this was my first really good guitar, I did have a Univox before this, which wasn't bad, but this was the best one. In fact, even though I have many collectible guitars, I have to say this one is the best in my opinion because of its versatility. You know,
I remember this at
one.
Junior Youth. I remember you playing Rush on Christ the King. The hundreds of block parties, the weddings.
A little riff, yeah.
Yep, and everything else. Yeah, give us a little bit of a riff, Joe. Let's see
Okay,
what's
yeah.
going on. Wow. Bluesy. So, how did the Joe Fuoco Music Center start? And tell me a little bit about it.
Well, I have to go way back to the beginning of my story because when I was 4 years old, my mom and dad got the idea, we're going to take you for accordion lessons. Now, for the viewers that might not know what an accordion is, which I'm not sure, it's this little box you kind of squeeze with the keyboard on this side, just like a piano, and the bass buttons like, C, G, F, D, and the other row being major or minor chords. So you got this pa sound. But now I'm talking about 1958.
Wow.
When I was a young lad, 58, 59, I was about 4. So I really I was just about conscious. In fact, I don't know if I'm even conscious now. But anyway, what happened is that my parents got the idea we're going to take you to music lessons. So we went to a place called the Ridgewood School of Music, okay, which was on Underdunk Avenue by 71st Avenue down in Ridgewood. You remember where it is, okay?
Way old,
Not there
yeah.
anymore, but
No.
my first teacher, Mr. Henry Coleman, picked up the accordion, and I played, and I remember that I did this little song. It kind of went like this. And so I played that, and then, but in the middle, I started going like, hitting these notes, and he goes, "Where'd you get the chords from?" And I go, "I just hear them." Geez, I just heard a couple of notes.
Wow.
Now this evolved into, the only problem is I really want to play the guitar, so I said, "Look, I'm watching Elvis. I want to play the guitar. I want to go like." But he said, "You got to wait a little bit because you're just starting. Your hands might not be ready for the guitar." So every week I bring my accordion and play "Batter Up" or "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star," which is fine. And then I kept driving him nuts. "Where's the guitar? Where's the guitar?" So he said, "Oh, let the kid bring the guitar in." I brought the guitar in, and I started playing not right away a few chords, but I remember my first lesson, I actually learned all the 6 strings in the first lesson. Now, I'm not really that smart. But what happened is that I just heard the notes. So he says, well, I never saw anybody do all 6 notes in the first lesson. I said, okay, 6 strings. So that, I was going nuts. I just loved the guitar, and I was playing. And, you know, as time went on, when I got to be maybe about 9 or 10 or 11, I played pretty good. And all of a sudden, everybody started asking me, look, could you play at my birthday party? Could you play at the dance? You know, you start getting hired, right? So we got a couple of kids together. We hit a couple of Beatles songs, you know, like a couple of little riffs, and we get a couple of little dances that we put. Of course, now by the time I'm 9 or 10, you got to remember now it's Beatlemania, you know, because now you talk about 64, 65. So everybody, right. The guitar craze, you remember this. So I had this little old Univox guitar. And all of a sudden, everybody started to call me to play here, because now this is an era before YouTube and before Facebook and before smartphones and before DJs and before even VCRs. So every street corner is live. So you'd have a Knights of Columbus, and you'd have a Garrity Pose, and you'd have a church dance, and so almost every night there was a live act.
Right.
Right. So this is what triggered it all. So then when I started playing, all of a sudden everybody said, hey, do you give lessons? Do you give lessons? Do you give lessons? So I'm somewhere around 13 or 14, and they're driving me nuts like you teach. So, you know, by that time I was young. A little bit, I'm going home, you know. So my mom said, look, let him come to the house on Saturday. And
I remember, that's where I learned.
Because all you need was 2 chairs and a music stand.
That's right.
That was the house on 64th. But then, all of a sudden, you walk on Saturday morning, about 50 people standing in front of the house.
I remember.
Yeah. So
I remember.
You remember this? So then my mom and dad get the idea, look, maybe we should rent the store and see what happens. Now, of course, like anything else you start, people go, oh, okay, that's never going to make it. It's not going to work. And I said, look, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I love it. We'll try it. I like helping people. I like teaching. And we tried it, and it never stopped. It just kept going and going. So we finally, that was the first store on March 1st, 1973 on 71st Avenue and 60th Lane. And it just never stopped. After 3 years, we went back to the apartment for a while, and then we went to Cooper Avenue on 61st.
I remember Cooper Avenue. Yeah. I remember them all.
Yeah, but we showed the thing living out in there. And then of course, when it got to in 1982, I did have the store by Cypress Hill Street for a while, and I was running 2 stores, but I said I got to get them both under one roof. So then finally in 1982, we purchased the building that I'm here now, which is 6620 Myrtle Avenue in Glendale. And it just really never stopped from there.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 50th anniversary of the Joe Fuoco Music Center. My name is Jerry Parisi. In the early 70s, Joe Fuoco, his dad, Joe, his mom, Marge, were instrumental in creating a place where Joe Fuoco could follow his dream to teach. Joe Fuoco Music Center opened 50 years ago in 1973. Since then, no one individual has been more committed to teach music. History is being made as he and his wife Jeanette still teach in the center on Myrtle Avenue here in Glendale, New York City. Many, if not hundreds, have left the door, and many work in the industry today, all due to Joe and his wife's efforts. So, it was 50 years ago today when Sergeant Fuoco taught the students to play. They've been going in and out of style, but tonight it's guaranteed to raise a smile. So may I introduce to you Sergeant Joe Fuoco Music Center for All. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to introduce my first music teacher, Mr. Joe Fuoco.
Thank you. Let me start out by clapping along. I want to see if we got any drummers out there. Ready? 1, 2. All right, let's see. You got it. You got it. Let's see. There you go. Yeah.
have Joe around and his music center for 50 years is amazing. You know, the talent there is absolutely something that you admire, something that you really appreciate, but more so than the talent is the fact that Joe gives back to the community. He's at street fairs, he's at carnivals, he's at children's events, but you know, he has a God-given talent that he gives back to the community, and I just want to say I truly appreciate it, and I wish Joe and Jeanette and the music center many more years of much success, and to say thank you once again for giving back to me. You know, when you go down any local side street fair, you go just walking around the neighborhood and you hear this music being played. I know I do, and I see this guy with a guitar. I see his wife Jeanette. You know, I see this guy with a guitar, and he's so full of life. And I say, well, that guy really has to break out of his shell. He's way too shy. He really has to. There's so much talent there. What he does is he gives it back to the community. That's what he does. He gives it right back. Now, 50 years is nothing to sneeze at. Being around, you know, in business, it's tough in this city to have a business, and to be around for 50 years should be acknowledged, you know. And Joe's a big Beatles fan, as I am. And in 1973, you didn't have the Beatles anymore; they were gone. But it was a special year for the Beatles because they each came out with a solo album, and they were all quite successful that year in the solo sense. But we, you know, the Beatles aren't around anymore, but we still have Joe. We still have the center. And so on behalf of the New York State Senate, I want to give Joe and the Music Center this Senate citation. It's not only for being around 50 years, but for what they have given back to the community and what they mean to us personally. Joe, to Jeanette, and to the whole Music Center, thank you.
Have a great evening, my God bless you all. Thank you. Let's hear it for Senator Joe Adamo, ladies and gentlemen. Great guy, and thank you so much for coming in person. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, as far as being married to Joe, he's like any other artist. He's up and he's down and he's sideways, but he's always great.
You actually do, and fame never entered your mind, even though they asked you to play on, what was it, The Godfather and a few other things.
I got a lot of offers, yeah.
A lot of offers, and you also tested Dario Strings.
Yeah.
That was another thing you do. But you know, I remember very clearly when Rush would play, there would be the most powerful sound out of your guitars. I also remember when Rush from Canada came in, and they had to change the name to Hush just to be a little different.
With Rush back in the 70s, I played with four of the great guys that I ever knew. Joe Fuoco being one of them, Joe LaCicero, bass player, Augie Fessler, a fantastic drummer, Charlie Cassiopo, who was a great organ player and guitar player, and myself. I mean, it was a great time, and it was a great time to be with these guys playing in a great band.
Phil's going to go back in the show in August. Alright, so next we have the 50-50. Let's draw that. Then we got to go to the finale. Then I got a button I push and all you push it goes back to the floor for 10 minutes. Alright, let me first say I want to thank everybody for coming down tonight. It's been a great night. It hasn't been easy. We've been working on this show for about 6 months. All week long, the newspapers are down. You can see it on the front page of the Times and the Chronicle and whatever. It's just that it's been a lot of work, but we kind of got through it. And I want to thank every one of you for over the years coming to my shows and putting up with my dumb jokes and my two-court theory and all that. And all the new students today that have to go through it. You all the ones that have gone through it. Anyway, we got a couple of the shows coming up in June and in August. I think June 21st and August 20th. So we may rerun this show down outside at the street fair in September. I'll keep you posted, okay? In the meantime, we want to thank everybody. Lou, thank you so much, okay? For the DJ equipment and the lights. And Miss Jerry Parisi, thank you so much for your help. And of course, all the girls in the back, Emily and Diane and friends and everybody in the church and school. So, and all the kids. Now, are you near the mic? Stop talking, this is school. I'm going to put you in attention. I'm get along. Once I talk something German, you're thrown. What is it? Let's get the 50-50. Forget your tickets. Okay, well, how much money? Okay, look, I didn't think I was going to take up this much. We want to thank Charlotte and Nick for going around and telling everybody you got to buy the 50-50 or we're going to put flat tires on your car. Thank you so much. All right. Anyway, thank you so much. They, by the way, that is Jeanette's sister and my two nieces right in that row, right in there. You see all the real beautiful girls right in that center. Another turning point in the road. I've got to find the reason to let you where to go. Take me back over the gas, so that's why I was waiting for them to have to turn the time. So predictable, but if you can do it right, I hope you have the time of your life. Thank you very much. We'll see you for Johnny Be Good.
And as far as the music center goes, we love it. There are people at this show that started with me when they were 6 years old and they're 32. So we are very proud of that.
The idea was that I think it's hard to say what makes something succeed and what doesn't. I had to play pretty good, or I don't think they would have kept coming.
For sure.
Yeah, and I think that you can attest to this. I genuinely want to help the student get good.